So I've had a few days of carburetor-related emotional upset. That sounds pretty complicated, don't it? I don't think they offer therapy for that, but I spent 3 days working on someone else's lawnmower and did everything I would normally do to clean a carburetor. And there's a whole bunch of video I made that I threw away because it all proved to be futile. It involved me cleaning a carburetor, putting it back together, having it not work, doing it again, doing it again, doing it again, having excessive leakage from the same carburetor. I finally figured out that the needle valve seat that for all of my life has been made out of brass on a carburetor, there's new Chinese carburetors coming from across the pond that have a little rubber grommet in there, and you can't stick a wire down in there and punch that one out and clean it out. You'll just destroy what's in there to start with. And I had probably seen something on YouTube somewhere about the new carburetors ain't any good, or they're not the same as the old carburetors. And I kind of remember seeing that and thinking, yeah, there's something I need to pay attention to. But generally, you know, my attention span is only about this long to start with. So when something comes along that I really need to pay attention to, I tend not to, because that's just my nature. And all of my school teachers all the way through school was not fond of me for all those same reasons. But I put a new carburetor on this one. It's not working right, and I'm thinking, well, probably the old carburetor is better than the new one. You know, I put a new one on the tractor, and it wasn't working right, and I took it off, put the old one back on. It worked fine. And same thing with this other lawnmower. I finally put a new carburetor on there, and even then I didn't think it was working that great. So I'm just frustrated with carburation right now. So I wanted to not even be working on anything that had anything to do with a gasoline engine, but my big mower, the one that's over there, yesterday I'm pretty sure it threw the spring off the mower deck. There's a spring on there that works the thing that engages the mower deck, and it had broken before, and I had re-bent the end of it. And sometimes when you bend a spring, it'll work for a little while, but not for too long. And I think that's exactly what happened there. I think that I re-bent that spring, or I bent that spring, and it worked for a little while until yesterday when it decided that it wasn't going to work any longer. So I'm still talking even though I'm not on the camera. So I'm going to get me a broom so I can be sweeping while we're talking. That's what I'm doing right now. So anyway, even though I don't want to work on a lawnmower, I do need to get up under that one there and see if it's what I think it is, which I think it's that spring that we were just talking about. And I don't really want it in my work garage because I'm sort of wanting to redo the floor in that garage. You know, I did some leveling compound on that floor a while back, and it came out really nice. But I only did one side of the garage, so I was wanting to do the other side of the garage. In fact, my schedule of events, other than making trips down to the lake to swim and ride around in the boat and fish, was that I was going to redo the floor in that garage, and then I was going to start working on that 350 Chevy engine that Todd reworked for me that's going to go in the Rambler. And that was like, oh good, this is going to be a whole change of direction. It's going to be something fun. Something fun right? Messing around with carburetors, lawnmowers, and things like that. That was my plan before the spring broke. And then, see, I don't want to abandon my plan. I want to keep my plan, which is to level that floor and then to start working on that engine. But if that lawnmower is in there and the mower deck's in there, it's going to take up space, and it's not going to be possible to do all of that at the same time. So I decided I'm going to do it right here. This is where the tractor sits. You notice there's a little wet spot here where it has been leaking, oh, I don't know, some unknown fluid there. Some sort of oil-related fluid. Could be hydraulic fluid of some sort, I don't know. But my thinking was, okay, rather than take it up there and use that space, I just pulled the tractor out and use this space right here. See, right here I have I'm a funny guy. I often have multiple projects going at the same time. Like over here, that little bit of wood, well, that's part of a project that I'm doing to make a walkway out to the lake over there to that little boathouse. And that could be moved. And this is my lawnmower that I actually was able to cut the grass with this one yesterday and did a pretty good job, even though I don't think it's running exactly right. It's running. That can be moved and that can be moved, which means that I can have this whole space right here to, and I've got an engine lift in here too, so I could literally pick up my big John Deere, slide the mower deck out from under it, ascertain, that's the word I like to use because it's a word that a lot of people with lower educational boundaries may not know, but because it sounds like something, you know, vulgar, but it's not. So I might ascertain whether or not I need a new spring on that thing right there by looking up under it, A, and then B, if I do need a new spring, I might as well go ahead and take the mower deck off. Are y'all still following along here? Because this is complicated stuff, and you know, when the Senate subcommittee investigates you, you're going to need, since you're not recording this, unless you're recording it, at which case it should be used as evidence against you, but since you're not recording it, probably, maybe, I don't know, then you need to remember it, probably, maybe, I don't know, but anyway, what I was going to say, y'all ever forget what you was going to say? Sometimes, right in the middle of saying it, you're saying something and you think, what was I going to say? Where was I going with all this? Oh, I don't know. Suddenly, see, this is how my mind works. Suddenly, my brain goes somewhere else, altogether brand new, that I've never been before. For example, I'm thinking, if I sweep this dirt into that gravel, I'm going to have a bunch of dirty gravel. But if I was to go get my little short-handled, flat-bladed shovel, I can use it as a scoop. Then I can scoop up that little pile of dirt and put it back there where I need a little pile of dirt. None of that has anything to do with what I came here to talk about. I'm not sure what I came here to talk about, but it was something to do with, oh yeah, I'm going to put my big mower here because this is where I'm going to work on it. And while I got the tractor out there, I'm going to pull some gravel. I got a pile of gravel left over here, and I want to pull it over there. I put some logs up along that side of where I drive, because what I like to be able to do is to go in and circle around and come out right there. And since that pile of gravel right there is just sitting there, I could drag it over and put it right in that low spot right over there. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, you know, the big question comes up, which one you're going to do first? You're going to move the lawnmower out here first, or you're going to get the tractor out and drag this gravel first? Well, it's always a big challenge to decide the importance of the priority of the stuffage that I'm thinking about doing. I also need to uncook and unhook this wire, so I won't be running over it so much with the tractor. See, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Seth, let's go get the lawnmower, the big lawn tractor, the John Deere, and we'll set it here. I'll lay on the concrete and I'll look at it. That'll be step one. Step one, because when you've got ADHD or ADD or dyslexia or any other ambrosiatic dysfunction, sometimes it's a good idea to make a list. So the first thing on my list, go get the tractor, set it right here. Number one, go get the tractor, set it right here. Go get the tractor, set it right here. Okay, you ready for that? That's what we're going to do first. That's the first thing. That's the first and foremost. And I'll just turn you around because the tractor, see, it's right over there. So I'm just going to turn you around. I'm going to go get the tractor, set it right over here. Keep that thought in mind. Now, don't let your mind wander. Don't start looking at the squirrels and the crows singing and all that. Go get the tractor. Go get the tractor. Oh, Miss Crow. step one. Went and got the tractor, set it over here. 63 Impala used to make fun of me because I made all these short videos, but for me, it's a lot easier to keep track of what I'm doing if I make short videos, because if I make, it gives me time to forget what I was going to do that was so very important. And by the time I remember it, I'm on to something else already. So I went and got the tractor, I set it over here. Step two, so I'm going to look up under here. I can do this during this very same video. I can cover two major points. Not like to be confused with the points on a Ford tractor or a 55 Ford, which regulate the fire, the electronic distribution of power.